Hey guys, welcome to week 14 of A Journey to One Bitcoin, where I sit with you every single week and we stack Bitcoin together. Guys, Bitcoin has been a bit volatile the last couple weeks. Normal. This is very standard behavior with Bitcoin. No big deal. Let's see here. Bitcoin dropped to about 113 just out of people taking profits and just trying to get a little cash off the table. Totally normal. And then it shot back up to 117 yesterday off of the news of Jerome Powell, who's the Fed chairman, saying that they were going to potentially start lowering interest rates. There was nothing about him, about the Fed actually lowering interest rates. It's actually just potentially they're seeing that based off of the market that they could start to lower interest rates. This got the market all excited, including Bitcoin, and it shot back up to 117. And today it's leveled off to about 115. Guys, I fill you in on that because I want you to know that there's always all this kind of news in the market and just randomness that's happening that could really shake investors in Bitcoin. These are mostly people that are just trying to make quick profits or cash or whatever. These aren't typically long hodlers or holders of Bitcoin. So again, this is a long-term savings plan. So on this channel, I'll give you some of that news and give you some updates of what's going on with Bitcoin and why it's behaving the way that it is. But at the end of the day, we're here to stack for the long term. We're here to save for the long term. And so these day-to-day movements, week-to-week movements, month-to-month movements even, I don't care about. The vision here is long term. All right. So just getting into our new week of stacking, right? The point of this channel is that I stack Bitcoin every single week. You guys follow along. You guys can either stack along with me with your own budget planning or budget template, or just watch as I stack and see the results that I get. That's no big deal. That's no problem either. The point of the channel is to kind of build out a community of people that stack together because of these fluctuations in Bitcoin. It can be very scary to stack by yourself, right? Over time, Bitcoin drops 10, 15% a week all of a sudden, and, it can be scary for someone that's doing it on their own to feel a little bit out, to feel really just alone in the process, right? And alone in the stacking process, and so can get scary. You could make you feel like you want to sell, and so I want to make sure that you always know that I'm here with you. I'm here stacking along. I'm not getting shaken out. Nobody's going to knock me off this market. I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen the ebbs and flows of Bitcoin, and it's a Brahma bull. It's like imagine being in a one of those cowboy riding events where you ride those horses, and the horse is trying to kick you off and you're just trying to hold on for dear life. Bitcoin is similar. There are so many variables that are going to try to kick you off this horse. The idea is just relax, hold on tight, and in the future you will thank yourself for doing so. All right, guys, let's get right into it. So for this month, I had already done my budget for all of August, in the first week of August. If you hadn't seen that, I recommend going back to my August monthly budget reallocation video and then seeing that so you can understand why I'm stacking what I'm stacking. But here are all my expenses, my income, etc. And so every single week for August, I am stacking $391.58. The total being $1,566.33 for the month. Okay, so for today, I'm going to go ahead and stack the 391. So we're going to get right into that. But before I do, I want to go over the buys that were pending, right? So I had two buys that were pending. We had done one a week of August 8th that we had placed, that it got filled actually this week with all this volatility. I had put it at 117 when Bitcoin was around 119, 120. I'm sorry, I had put it at 115. And so it filled actually on the 17th earlier this week when Bitcoin dropped off. at 115,456. So I went ahead and logged that in. The fill date was August 17th. And then last week, we did basically a force fill. We did an automatic buy at the market level price at 117,524. Okay, so we got those two buys already filled and done. So those are done and completed buys. Today, we're going to go ahead and do this new one at 391.58. Again, same buy as the last 3 weeks in August. Okay, so I'm jumping back into Kraken. Again, Kraken is my preferred exchange for the moment. I do like their fees, but again, I have to check in on Strike because I have heard some good things about Strike. I'll try and get that done before next week's video so you guys can see that. So, all right, let's jump into this buy. I already have my money deposited in Kraken. That's all set. So I just put in here the 391.58 that we're going to do here, which I believe is my balance. Yep, 391.58. I'm going to go ahead and go into the chart. Like I said, guys, I always do a custom order. So I go into the custom order, I do a chart, and then at the 115, it's not bad at all. I think I might, yeah, what if we drop it to 114? We could do that, but I do like the 115 price. It's not terrible. Actually, you know what? I am going to drop it to 114. Let's go ahead and do it because I do expect more volatility through September. September is usually a low month for Bitcoin, and you'll see a lot of YouTubers put videos up with, like, you know, the thumbnail saying "Wake me up when September ends," and you know, September's just not, historically has not been a good month for Bitcoin, even on bull run phases. And then October is kind of has a nickname of the Uptober, where you'll see a lot of run up of Bitcoin. So we could expect to see some pullbacks in September just based off of history. Again, just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to kind of go off of what historical patterns have shown. So I'm going to go ahead and just do my standard drop pullback at 114 and see what happens, right? And again, if it doesn't fill, I'll just force fill it on next week's video and keep going. So all set there. I'm going to do my custom order. And what's that fee here? 579 fee, same thing at 114,052. So let me write that down real quick. 114,052 and 69 cents so that I could put that here, and then 579 fee. Sweet. Okay, so we're going to confirm that. Let me get closer here. And we're all set. So if I view my order, my computer's a bit slow today. There we go. Here we go. We got the buy all set. Oh, actually, the fee is actually less today. It's going to be $3.88. And that is usually happens on the weekends, guys. That's why I think it's always best to do your buys on the weekends, because there is not so much congestion on the blockchain. You don't have the ETF movements, these massive asset fund managers that are playing around with Bitcoin during the week. They're all closed. They're closed and they come back on Monday. So on the weekends when you put these buys, that's why your fees can get cheaper, right? So pretty cool. We got a nice fee there, $3.88. So we're all set there. I'm gonna go ahead and jump back into the accumulation log. And again, guys, if you guys want one of these sheets, I put in the description of not every video, but in the last few videos, a link to get a free copy of this sheet that you can go ahead and play with as well, and you can follow along with the actual sheet that I use. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put here today's date, the exchange that we're using, Kraken, again 391.58. The fee on this one was actually $3.88. So cool. We actually get to invest a couple more dollars into Bitcoin. The purchase price we put it at was 114,052.69. And that's it, guys. We're all set there. We've put in our buy. We'll see if it fills during this week. It might not. If it doesn't, again, I'll force fill it on next week's video. All right, so let's jump into the financial deep dive. Let's see where we are at with our goal. Guys, we've passed the 50% mark. 50% of the way to our first goal of 0.1 in just 14 weeks. Amazing. Let me tell you guys something. I keep seeing more and more videos from YouTubers saying just get to 0.1, right? That's become the new goal. When I first got into Bitcoin, the goal or like the thing was like 3.33 Bitcoin. Everybody was saying you got to get to 3.33 Bitcoin. And then it slowly just became 1 Bitcoin. You've got to get to 1 Bitcoin. That was like the thing. And now I'm seeing more and more videos of people saying you've got to get to 0.1 Bitcoin. That's a huge already amount of Bitcoin, considering the adoption that's happening and the amount of money that's flowing into Bitcoin. If you guys don't know, I believe, and I got to double check this, but I believe they just approved to allow 401ks to put money in Bitcoin. So that's a huge amount of money that's sitting on the sideline that can also get deployed into Bitcoin. And again, Bitcoin is a finite asset, meaning there's only so much Bitcoin. There's 21 million coins. There are no more. So the more and more cash that gets put towards Bitcoin, the less Bitcoin there is available for everyone. And so again, that's why these numbers on these YouTube videos get lower and lower and lower. People are saying 0.1. Eventually, you'll start to see people saying 0.01 Bitcoin is the goal, right? 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people will start putting videos like that. I was surprised to start seeing these 0.1 videos. So again, guys, reaching a 0.1 goal is a big deal. We're still very early to this space. So I highly recommend setting a 0.1 goal and then going from there. All right, next one is 0.2 and then continuing to stack the way that we're doing. And again, I'll be here with you every single week so you guys can watch how I do it. I'm just continuing to add to my stack, right? But that's it, guys. We're, again, 52% of the way to our goal. And let's see here. If I put here, actually, this one 100%, which is the 1566.33 for the month. We are about 7 months away from our 0.1 goal. So we will get there, guys. I know it feels like a long time, but this isn't hard. We just sit here every week and we stack Bitcoin. Again, guys, if anybody wants a copy of this sheet, it is in the description to this video. I also put out a video a few weeks ago showing how exactly to use the sheet once you've downloaded it, how to get it set up, how to get it working right, and then there's not much to do. It's just kind of a walkthrough of making sure you've got your live Bitcoin price set up, right? You don't have to plug in any formulas. You don't have to do anything. You literally just have to enable the content so that you can get this live Bitcoin price and everything else starts to work, the graphs and everything, okay? All right, guys, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for checking in. I will be dropping another video next week on this series of stacking Bitcoin. I will also start dropping more videos about Bitcoin in general, just Bitcoin education videos. I feel like there are still a lot of misunderstandings with Bitcoin and how it works, especially when it comes to self-custody, running Bitcoin nodes, all these kind of stuff. So I'm going to start putting on videos, educational videos about Bitcoin, and also the difference in investing in Bitcoin versus other assets, right? I did put out a video this week that I highly recommend, doing a breakdown of real estate investment, of buying a home versus buying Bitcoin, and what the returns actually look like when all the costs are said and done after a 30-year period, like if you had a 30-year mortgage, right? So I've did it in a breakdown of the actual numbers, so you guys can see that, actually, of a home that I was interested in investing in, and then I kind of backed out because it just didn't. The numbers weren't right, and I kind of run through those numbers with you on that video. I dropped that video earlier this week. I highly recommend taking a look at it if you're somebody that's trying to decide where do you put your money. Should you put it in real estate? Should you put it in bonds? Should you put it in the stock market? Or should you put it in Bitcoin? I highly recommend looking at that video, watching it, and checking out the breakdown of what 30 years later looks like when you invest in each one of those assets. Okay, guys, if you're liking the channel, subscribe, hit the like button. That helps me a lot to get this channel out there. It is a pretty new channel, so the more likes, subscribes, comments I get, the more it gets out there, the more people can stack along with us and can get value out of this content. All right, guys, have a great one, and I will see you next week.